Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do my January TBR. Excuse the helicopter that is flying over our heads. I don't know what's happening out there, shooting or what's going on, but it ain't leaving, so we're gonna do this. I have a rather ambitious TBR. I'm participating in a few things, so let's just get into it. So I am participating in Chantel Reed-Zalte's Lucy Maud Montgomery read-along, and the first one that they're reading is Anne of Green Gables. So we're starting off with that. I had already listened to an abridged version. It was like a dramatized version. That was actually produced by Megan Follows, she was the actress that played Anne of Green Gables in the series that we all love to watch. So yeah, I listened to that during the More Montgomery challenge. So yeah, technically I kind of already read it recently, but it was an abridged version, so I'm interested in, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to go on to Anne of Avonlea without reading Anne of Green Gables. Then I am listening to a new podcast that I heard about from Shannon, from A Truth Universally Acknowledged. I cannot say that quickly. And she told me, the video of hers I heard about, I heard in a video that she did about a podcast called Pod and Prejudice. And the hosts are an expert who has read all the books, all of Jane Austen's books, and someone who's never read any. And the first one that they read back in 2020 was Pride and Prejudice. And I'm one of those weirdos who must start at the very beginning of a podcast. So the first book I'm reading is Pride and Prejudice. That's a reread. Then I'm participating in Book Lover Amanda's Southern Comfort Reading Challenge. I don't know if I'm going to be participating every month. This month just happened to work because the prompt was coming home, and she did a recommendations video where she recommended Unyielding Hope by Jeanette Oak, which I so happen to own. So it worked out this month, but I don't know if I'll keep doing it or not. So yeah. Okay. So, yeah, now let's get on to Epistolary January. Oh no, I missed one. The Currently Reading podcast is doing a read-along of Wicked by Gregory Maguire because of the movie that just came out. They're going to do a Zoom discussion of it at the end of February, so I have plenty of time to read that. It's long. Now let's get on to Epistolary January, which is hosted by Anne from In Search of Wonder, Kelly Reads a Lot, Cheryl from Candlewick Library, Miriam Elizabeth Reads, and Jeanette from Jane Reads. I always want to call her Jane, and her name is Jeanette. So, I don't have anything for the love letters prompt. Love letter and epistolary romance. I guess I don't know. We'll see what I pick for that later, unless you have any recs. Then we have Lost Mail, a classic or book by an author that's no longer with us. And I picked The Selected Letters of Laura Ingalls Wilder. I bought this one on Audible a little while ago when it was on sale. Perfect time to read it. Then Free Shipping, a book that was free. I picked The Diary of a Young Girl, the definitive edition by Anne Frank. I haven't read Anne Frank in a long time, and I want to. And for once, I actually love Braille Institute's version over the narrator from the commercial market, probably because that's what I listened to in childhood. And yeah, I don't know if you guys know that there's two different editions to Anne Frank's diary. We have the definitive edition, which has a little bit more material in it than the edition that Otto Frank originally published in the 50s. So I always read that one. It's actually very funny. But there is a little bit of, I can kind of see why Otto Frank took some stuff out, because in that version, Anne talks a little bit about learning about sex. So, yeah. I can see why Otto Frank might have wanted to keep that to himself. Anyway, let's go on to the next prompt. Correspondence. Any book that contains letters between people. And this one I have a lot of books. I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but we'll see. First we have Homefront Girls by Loretta I can't pronounce his name, and Suzanne Hayes. Loneliness is built into the fabric of this war, isn't it? I say a little prayer before I stick my hand in the mailbox. Okay. The Rockport, Massachusetts stamp on the front of an envelope means the clouds will part, revealing a brilliant sun. It's January 1943, and Rita Vincenzo receives her first letter from Glory Whitehall. Glory is an effervescent young mother from New England, impulsive and free as a bird. Rita is a Midwestern professor's wife with a love of gardening and a generous old soul. These two women have nothing in common except one powerful bond. The men they love are fighting in a war a world away from home. Brought together by an unlikely twist of fate, Glory and Rita begin a remarkable correspondence. The friendship forged by their letters allows them to survive the loneliness and uncertainty of waiting on the home front and gives them the courage to face the battles raging in their own backyard. So yeah, it's just them talking, I guess, through letters. Then we have Letters from My Sister by Valerie Fraser. L-U-E Lewis. I heard about this one from Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. It was a new release from 2023. Sisters Emmy and Callie have no secrets between them until a mysterious accident robs one of a crucial memory and sparks troubling visions. Only through letters they exchange, while painfully separated, do the sisters reveal hidden truths leading back to a fateful springtime day and a chilling September night that changed them both forever. I don't know what that means, but I want to know. Then I decided, when I thought I didn't have enough epistolary books, to reread the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. I'm actually currently rereading it now. I'm listening to it, and I'm, loving it. I'm not going to talk about that just because most of you know what that is. And it's been in everybody's recommendations videos, so yeah. My next one is kind of unique. It's a kid's book. It's called The Fairy Tale Fan Club, Legendary Letters Collected by C.C. Cecily by Richard, I cannot pronounce his name, Ayoade? I heard about this one from a new podcast I'm listening to for kids. It's called the Book Delight Podcast. What if you could send fan mail to your fairy tale idols? And what if they wrote back? Happily Ever After takes on a new meaning in this book from actor, comedian, author Richard, I cannot pronounce these names. It's Once Upon a Time, as only the irreverently witty... Okay, stop making me pronounce his name. In this series of letters organized by C.C. Cecily, senior secretary of the Fairy Tale Fan Club, the fairest of them all, and a few bitter foes, correspond with curious and opinionated fans. So if you've ever wondered how a less than genius and less than clothed emperor fell for a certain con, how the big bad wolf is handling meatless Mondays, or whether Rapunzel recommends going for the big chop, no need to look far, far away. Multi-hyphenate? Okay. I get it. This author imagines what questions modern children would have for characters such as Sleeping Beauty, Prince Charming, and Little Red Riding Hood, and what they might have to say in return. Okay, so could this count for Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails fairy tale retellings? I'm going to count it, because this is fairy tale related. So, I figure it'll work. And it's short, so sounds like fun. Next we have a serious one. Honestly, most of the rest of these are depressing, but intriguing. We have My Daughter's Secret by Nicole Trope. I think I bought every Nicole Trope book I wanted. I discovered her and I went on a binge, and I haven't read, I think I've read 2 since I bought them over a year ago. So, yeah, thank goodness one of them applies to this. My baby girl, I'll never forget you. Your smile, your laugh, the way your hair sparkles in the sun. I cannot comprehend this pain. I cannot breathe through it. In the middle of the night, Claire wakes up to discover that her beloved daughter, Julia, is dead. and life as she knows it is over. Searching for answers, Claire stumbles upon a pile of letters hidden under Julia's bed in an old battered shoebox and feels closer to her daughter than ever before. They tell her that Julia was happy, that she was thriving at university, that she was in love. But as the letters go on, Claire starts to feel uneasy at something hidden between the lines. Even as she grieves, she must prepare to face a shocking discovery, because Julia was hiding a terrible secret, and when it's discovered, it will devastate a family already torn apart by tragedy. So yeah, there's that. Then we have A Mother's Betrayal by Louise Guy. I heard about this one from Chloe from Always Booked. I'm adding her name to this. So yeah, this one came out September of 2024. When Julia Hudson is involved in a near-fatal accident, the lives of her children, Nurse Flo and her twin sister, high-flying lawyer Ari, are sent into freefall. As they sit vigil by their mother's bedside, the sisters discover that Julia, who has always preached unwavering principles and integrity, has been keeping a terrible secret. A secret that shatters everything they've ever believed about their family. But the twins have each other, or do they? Because Julia is not the only one keeping secrets. With Julia in a coma and unable to answer their questions, her journals might provide the answers they seek. But Julia's journals reveal yet another dark secret, one that will make the sisters question every part of the lives they've lived. If you can't trust your mother, who can you trust? And with their mother's life in the balance, can the sisters find a way to forgive her before it's too late? This one should have gone in the journal column or spot. I don't know why I put it there. But yeah. Then we have The Christmas Letters by Patricia, The Amish Christmas Letters by Patricia Davids. This is an anthology, but it sounds like it's got something to do with letters, so I'll take it. Next we have Airmail, a book that is set in a foreign country. So first we have The Night Diary by Vera Hiranan. Recommend. I heard about this one from Krista from Books and Jams. It's 1947 in India, newly independent of British rule, has been separated into two countries, Pakistan and India. The divide has created much tension between Hindus and Muslims, and hundreds of thousands are killed crossing borders. Half Muslim, half Hindu, 12-year-old Nisha doesn't know where she belongs or what her country is anymore. When Papa decides it's too dangerous to stay in what is now Pakistan, Nisha and her family become refugees and embark first by train, but later on foot to reach her new home. The journey is long, difficult, and dangerous, and after losing her mother as a baby, Nisha can't imagine losing her homeland too. But even if her country has been ripped apart, Nisha still believes in the possibility of putting herself back together. Told through Nisha's letters to her mother, The Night Diary is a heartfelt story of one girl's search for home, for her own identity, and for a hopeful future. I think Currently Reading talked about this too. It's supposed to be really good. It's kind of a recommendation if you like Anne Frank's diary. Next we have An Island at War by Deborah Carr. I heard about this one from Alma's Book Journey. A moving historical novel about the German occupation of the Channel Islands. Okay. While her little sister Rose is sent to the UK to keep her safe from the invading German army, Estelle is left behind on Jersey to help her grandmother run the family farm. While the Germans occupy the island, everything changes, and Estelle and the islanders must face the reality of life under Nazi rule. Interspersed with letters from Rose back in London, the novel is also inspired by the real-life stories from the author's own family who were on the island during the occupation, and is a true testament to the courage and bravery of the islanders. So I might read that one, I might not, because it doesn't seem like completely epistolary, so if I don't get to that one, it's fine. I have a lot of books. Next we have The Telegram by Debbie Ricks. It's another Chloe book that she recommended in her October video. One message will change everything. 1915. Shaking, she opens the red, faded front door, and her heart races as the young boy on the steps holds out the telegram. The words swim before her. They can't be true. This can't be happening. Nothing will ever be the same again. 1943. Elizabeth Carmichael rushes out down the steps of her townhouse in her smart army uniform, daydreaming of her handsome fiancé posted miles away in the RAF, and determined to play her part in the war effort. Not looking where she's going, Elizabeth collides with the tall man in the middle of the street. She instantly recognizes him from a faded photograph from the war. This chance meeting will change everything Elizabeth thought she knew about herself. 1960. Violet Carmichael wipes the dust from an antique writing desk, not expecting to find a hidden compartment or the old diaries nestled inside. Peeling apart the yellowing pages, a story unfolds of a family devastated by 2 world wars and a man who risked his life and freedom and for love. It leads her to discover a telegram that will finally unlock a decades-old family secret. I don't know what that means, or how much of the journals is going to be in this book. It could just be different perspectives and not journal entries. I have to do more research. Next, we have What I Would Tell You by Liz Tolsma. This is part of, I think this is the Echoes in the Past series. This is the first one that just so happened to mention journal entries, but that's the thing with historical fiction. A lot of these books mention finding journals, and you, like, see, like, a quote from the journal, and then there's no more journal because you're just in that person's perspective. So I don't know if I count that as epistolary. Determined to resist the invading Nazis, a Greek Jewish woman's greatest dream has become her worst nightmare, and now she faces an impossible choice whose consequences echo across the generations. 1941. The pounding of Nazi boots on the streets of Salonika, Greece, reverberates in Mathilda Meesem's ears, shaking her large community of Sephardic Jews to its core and altering her life forever. If only her people would rise up and risk their captors. At great risk to herself and those around her, she uses a small newspaper she publishes to call them to action, all to no avail. Her husband encourages her to trust God to watch over them, but God has once again deserted his people. Amid the chaos, Mathilda discovers she is expecting a longed-for child. Still, nothing stops the occupiers' noose from tightening around their necks, and she may have to resort to desperate measures to ensure her daughter's survival. 2019. College student Tessa Payton and her cousin take a popular DNA heritage test, only to discover they don't share any common ancestry. In fact, the test reveals Tessa is a Greek Sephardic Jew. This revelation threatens her tenuous faith. Always the overlooked child in her family, she empties her savings account and jets off on a journey to Greece to discover where she belongs and which God demands her allegiance. The enchanting curator at the Jewish Museum guides her as she navigates life in Thessalonica, helps her with genealogical research, and loans her a fascinating journal written by a Jewish woman during World War II. Tessa's search, however, may open old wounds and uncover long-hidden secrets that could fracture her family forever and leave her with more questions than when she started. So yeah, I'm not sure how that works, if we're going to see much of the diary. The next one is called The Girl with the Diary by Sherry J. Ryan. Okay. Nazi-occupied Prague, 1942. Amelia is hiding in her closet when flashlights blind her and she's captured by the SS. Out on the cobblestone streets, she's shoved onto a freight train with hundreds of others. Hours pass as they travel in darkness. Arriving in Theresienstadt concentration camp, Amelia fears for her life when she is led to a block by a soldier. He is her enemy, but he risks everything to secretly pass her a piece of bread, an act that saves her. They are meant to despise one another, but Amelia and Charlie are powerfully drawn to each other. Yet, among so much tragedy, surviving feels impossible, and falling in love is a miracle. Under the all-seeing gaze of the guards in endless watchtowers, there is only so long they can keep their secret, and the very act of loving each other endangers their lives. Will they remain loyal to each other in the face of death? And when they finally say goodbye, will it be by choice or by force? Years later, a worn leather diary filled with faded yellow pages, unopened for decades, will reveal the devastating truth. That's the only reason I picked it, because it said that there's a diary. But I don't know. Then we have package, a book with more than 400 pages. It's hard to tell with an audiobook. We'll see what I count for that. Then we have journal, a book with journal entries. So, I know some of these are supposed to be journal entries, but I put them in airmail because they're not from here. So as far as journal entries, I have These Is My Words, The Diary of Sarah Agnes Prine, 1881 to 1901, by Nancy E. Turner. A moving, exciting, and heartfelt American saga inspired by the author's own family memoirs. These words belong to Sarah Prine, a woman of spirit and fire who forges a full and remarkable existence in a harsh, unfamiliar frontier, scrupulously recording her steps down the path Providence has set her upon. From child to determined young adult to loving mother, she shares the turbulent events, both joyous and tragic, that molded her and recalls the enduring love with cavalry officer Captain Jack Elliott that gave her strength and purpose. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Next, we have Secrets of the Amish Diary, Amish in Mysteries, #1, by Rachel M. Phillips. I heard about this one from Hannah from the Teacher's TBR. I forget when, honestly. This doesn't say anything about a diary, but it's in the title, so we'll see. The people of Pleasant Creek are delighted to welcome Liz Eckhart to their picturesque country town as she reopens the old mansion inn bed and breakfast. But a new start and a simpler life aren't the only reasons Liz is setting down roots in the heart of Indiana's Amish country. She is quietly embarking on a quest to find answers about her late mother's secret life growing up Amish. Becoming the town's new innkeeper helps Liz ingrain herself among the townsfolk while searching for the truth about her Amish relatives. That is, until she finds herself in the middle of the mysterious murder of one of the inn's guests. Is there a connection between the death of her troublesome lodger and the truth about her long-lost family? Sounds interesting. Next we have one that I wasn't sure I wanted to read right now, but I put it in anyway, because you never know. A Memory of Violets by Hazel Gaynor. I've just been burned by a Hazel Gaynor book, so I'm a little salty right now when it comes to her. In 1912, 20-year-old Tilly Harper leaves the peace and beauty of her native Lake District for London to become assistant house mother at Mr. Shaw's Home for Watercress and Flower Girls. For years, the home has cared for London's flower girls, orphaned and crippled children living on the grimy streets and selling posies and violets and watercress to survive. Soon after she arrives, Tilly discovers a diary written by an orphan named Florrie, a young Irish flower girl who died of a broken heart after she and her sister Rosie were separated. Moved by Florrie's pain and all she endured in her brief life, Tilly sets out to discover what happened to Rosie. But the search will not be easy. So, yeah. I guess we'll see. Then we have email. Read a contemporary novel that includes text or emails. So I want to finish the Skimar series. So, Positively Penelope by Pepper Basham and Loyally Luke by Pepper Basham. You already know all about that. And I'm hoping to listen to The Appeal by Janice Hallett, but I'm on hold at the library for it, so we'll see if that happens. You guys already know about that from other recommendations. So yeah. Then I have other books that I want to get to. I never finished Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I am about to get Out of My Dreams by Sharon Draper it's on hold right now, but it says coming soon. It's the third book in the Out of My Mind series. It's a middle grade series. Can't wait. Then I kind of really want to read Out of Time by Jillian Cantor. I recently heard about this one from Alma's Book Journey. I put myself on hold for that one. It's supposed to get here soon. So we'll see. And then I want to start a new World War II series. I know all of my books are World War II. I may ditch some for other things. I probably will. There's too many. Like I said, this is a pile of possibilities. But I want to read The Girl on the Boat. It's for part of the Emerald Sisters series by Kate Hewitt. The last book is coming out at the end of the month, and I was waiting to read these in like when I had them all, because it sounded like they ended on a cliffhanger. I'll read the description for this one. Germany, 1939. Okay, the screen is moving. Quickly, take this emerald. This was my late mother's gem, and it will keep you safe. And I promise we will all meet again in Paris. When Sophie Weiss boards the SS St. Louis, she has no reason to stay in Germany. The Nazis have taken everything from her, and her only hope is escape. But when she meets fellow Jewish refugees Rosa, Hannah, and Rachel on board, the friendship they form gives Sophie hope that there could be happiness in her future after all. But their worst fears are realized when the boat is refused entry at a port they thought would be safe. Terrified of being sent back to Europe, the women cling together and desperately wait for news. At last, word reaches the ship that a friend of Sophie's father is willing to take her in, but there is only room for her. Quickly, Sophie unpicks the lining of her coat, revealing her late mother's emerald hidden in the lining. She hands a piece of the precious stone to each of her friends, and the women promise to meet in Paris when this nightmare is over. Watching the SS St. Louis grow smaller on the horizon, Sophie's heart breaks. How can she embrace her freedom when those she loves face an unknown fate? And what can she do to help them? Gripping her emerald with a fierce determination, she fixes her eyes on the boat. I will find a way to help you, no matter what. So yeah, it sounds like the other books are about the other women that get sent back to Nazi-occupied countries. And yeah, it just sounded like that book ended on a cliffhanger. So I wanted them all before I started them. Next, I want to read my last Alison Ragsdale book. It's called Her Last Chance. And it sounds like it's about a mom whose little girl is going blind or something. It says, Ava's daughter Carly is everything a 10-year-old should be. Energetic, creative, and the light of her parents' lives. When she starts stumbling downstairs and walking into doors, Ava wants to rush to the doctor. Her husband Rick is sure she's fighting over nothing. Kids can be a little clumsy sometimes, but Ava's instinct is telling her something is seriously wrong. Against Rick's advice, Ava takes Carly to see a specialist and is given a devastating diagnosis, a rare genetic condition that will change her future forever. When Rick realizes the truth, he is determined to do all he can to help Carly enjoy what light she has left. The close-knit family take it one day at a time, walking to the beach and watching the sunrise. Just as Ava begins to imagine a new future for them all, a tragic accident throws their lives into chaos once more. To give her daughter a chance at a full life, Ava faces a devastating choice. How can she possibly choose between the two people she loves most? Then I have two more, World War II books that are coming out this month, but I want them. I want to read them now. I just talked about them. The Photographer's Secret by Ellie Midwood. This one's coming out January 15th, and I'm still waiting on Audible. Maggie's hands tremble as she lowers her camera, unable to bear the little girl's haunted eyes pleading at her from behind the gates. This camp is hell on earth, and this roll of film is enough for the Nazis to kill her, but she won't rest until the world knows the truth. So, yeah. And then we have The Train That Took You Away by Catherine Hawken, one of my favorite World War II authors. Ever since the Nazis came to power, violence has spread through the city Esther Spielman once called home. Each night she prays her family will be spared. When her husband and father are murdered alongside fellow Jews during Kristallnacht, she has no choice but to send her beloved son, Sasha, to safety. And yeah, she sends him on the Kindertransport, and I guess she gets captured by the Nazis later too. Whoa, I'm running out of battery again. And then I'm hoping to read some more of the Kate Burkholder series. I'm on book 8, which is called Among the Wicked. And I think I am done. Oh, yeah. Babysitter's Club. I do want to read more of those if I can. But yeah, that's pretty much what I plan to read in January. I don't know if I'll read all of it or if things will change. I'm kind of a mood reader, so I don't normally like to do too many TBRs, but when there's a good readathon I'm into, I'll do the TBRs. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about these books and whether they have actual journal entries or if I can come back to those later, that'd be great. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!
22nd of April, 1946. Dear Miss Ashton, your box for Eli came Friday.
Speech on. 20% battery. Close. Button. Phase near bottom right edge.